formally start the program. My name is Gulzan Karishma Malik. I'm a practicing chartered accountant. I'm into practice since 2009. It is almost more than 10 years now. And my specialization is taxation, both direct and indirect. And my pet area of practice is NGO sector. And because that is very close to my heart, okay, so I'm very fascinated. I understand what all of you are doing, especially the year 2020. You have proved that wherever the government was failing, wherever the humanity was failing, it was the NGOs who have come forward. And I'm very, very, fortunate to address this crowd here. Okay, congratulations. I really pray to God that you should be blessed with abundant resources to magnify your activities and reach, a trend set. You should set a trend in Telangana and lead by an example for the entire country. Okay, so we were actually planning for this event for last few months. But the problem was we were so held up with the audit season, we couldn't organize it. Even last month when we were supposed to celebrate this NGO day, we were actually planning this event. So somehow it has come to this day. I'm grateful to Almighty to bless us with this event, help us organize. The team here, my husband, my staff from our office, and Amjad Bhai, the person who has organized this place, the venue, everything, and Mr. Feroz Beg. We are fortunate to have such wonderful people who have come forward to help us organize this event. Okay, so now let us first of all understand last few months. If you see the papers, the media, everywhere we had this negative vibes coming. The government is very bad with the NGO sector. It is hitting a hard rod. It is, choking the NGO sector. These kind of negative words we've been hearing. So it is high time that we have to keep ourselves aware, understand, and stay calm and prepare ourselves for the changing laws. Okay, you can keep on complaining what the government is doing, but that's not going to give us a solution at all. So we have to change with the changing times. You see the corporate sector also has seen a lot of changes last few years. So now they finished changing them, so they have come to our domain now, the NGO sector. They want us to change and be more transparent, be more accountable. No doubt all this is not that easy. You will have a lot of inconvenience. This is part of life, right? So change is not that easy at all. So how do you handle this inconvenience? We will be addressing that in this session, inshallah. Okay, so now see, when I wanted to decide what should be my program details, to what extent I can go. So now, to my surprise, the scope is so huge, we have to bring it down because of the paucity of time. But if you observe, the income tax laws have been changing in 2020. The Finance Act 2020 came with a very big surprise. And to add to that, even the latest budget 2021 has come with some more amendments for NGO sector. So they are not, keeping quiet. They're keeping on changing. So it's very important that we take time and come and attend such sessions. We will go very slowly. So today I am teaching here and all of you are students. So this workshop is more from the point of view of learning. This is not going to be a one-way session where I'm just going on and it is going on your head. So I request all of you just to take out your pen and paper so that we understand with the flow of the presentation. So first of all, the government has divided the trust into two categories now. Okay, the first category of the trust is those which are already having dwelling. Okay, how many of you all already have dwelling? Just raise hand once again. Okay, most of you. So what is the government telling for all of us, those who have dwelling? The government is saying you have to come and get it renewed again. Okay, earlier it was a permanent dwelling registration. But now you have to come and get it revalidated. This is what the government is telling. So now all of you Please remember, though this budget had come 2020, the Finance Act, but they went on extending the time, and because of the pandemic, the deadline has arrived. The deadline is 31st March. We have to start preparing for this renewal, and from 1st April 2021, the window for renewal will open. It's an online platform where the process will start. So we should not wait till 1st April 2021 to then get the shocks. You should prepare. These 15 days are very crucial for us. You have to prepare yourself for this online submission. This is very important. Okay, so now what is the law telling? Very important point. I will share this PPT. You don't have to write each and everything. We took your email IDs. We will forward it to you. But the basics we are understanding. The basics are, they are saying when you come to us for renewal, we will be checking the genuineness of the activities and whether you are contravening with any of the laws of this country. Two things we will check. You have to come to us for renewal. You are already holding 12A. So don't be under the impression that I have a 12A. So when I go to them again, they will simply renew an expired license and give it to me. This is not just a renewal of an expired license. It is once again a process of proving yourself. That is very important. We will be proving to the Government of India that when we received the 12A, some of you 15 years back, some of you 20 years back, are still eligible and they are still worthy enough to hold this 12A. So they are not just renewing, but they are checking the genuineness. And also another important point, what is that? Are you contravening? Are you violating any of the laws of this country? Now, what are these two important aspects? Genuineness. Okay, what do you mean by genuineness? My objects are talking about charity, but I am not genuinely spending. I have too much of surplus, I look very commercial, or I'm like, for example, if you go and see some of the case laws which were leading to cancellation of 12A, one charitable organization was addressing to only one sect of the community. Right? It could be, totally the beneficiaries are Muslims, or totally the beneficiaries are Agarwals. That organization is calling itself charitable, but the beneficiaries are all some group of the society. They are not for public at large, irrespective of caste, creed, religion. There the government will say, you are not doing charitable work at all. You are a religious entity. You should have been registered as a religious entity. How come your beneficiaries are not having people from across the religions? So this would be one point. Another point is somebody is earning huge surplus, but they are not applying it. So there are different ways in which the government is going to check the genuineness of the activity. Here, let me tell you, earlier when NGOs were going for 12A, the commissioner used to check genuineness of the activity earlier, prior to this amendment. The court came into picture and said, 12A is just a registration section. Why are you checking the genuineness? Don't check. Leave it to the department during assessment. Right now you give them registration, let them file their return, let the department do scrutiny. In the scrutiny, if we come to know that there is some fraud happening or non-charitable work happening, that time we can cancel the registration. This was the approach of the court. The court was in favor of the clients, that is NGOs. How was it in favor? When you go for 12A, the court is supporting the NGO and saying, don't look at what they are doing. We will look at it later. Right now you just give them 12. This was the problem happening by the courts. So Finance Act 2020 decided, no, 12A is not a formality at all. At the stage of 12A, we will check the genuineness of the activity. So this power is given to the department now. For all the existing 12A entities, the department is going to check how genuine you are. How will they check? They are taking huge data from you. We will be seeing that list now. What all things we are supposed to attach with the application form. You may end up spending 1 month preparing for the data that they are asking. So based on that data, they will check the genuineness. Second important point, they are asking, are you contradicting with any of the laws of the country? Which law? We are right now talking about Income Tax Act. So are they talking about income tax alone? No. The powers of the department is going to ask you, are you having a trade license? You have an office, you have a small livelihood unit for poor people. Do you hold a trade license under Shop and Establishment Act? Do you have the GHMC license to operate that livelihood unit there? No, I don't have. When you are violating that basic law, why do you ask as exemption? Are you complying with professional tax? You are an NGO, hiring hundreds of people, and you don't bother to register yourself under professional tax. You're not complying with professional tax. You're not complying with labor laws, PF, ESI, and you're asking for dwelling. That itself shows that you're not fair enough with your staff. Labor laws are for protecting the interest of your employees. So when you cannot protect their interest, how genuine can you be in your charitable work? This is the approach of the government. Then they are saying, last 3 years back, from 17, 18, 18, 19 and 19, 20, 3 financial years, every NGO should have TAN number. Okay, last 3 financial years, NGOs are supposed to deduct TDS for the payments that are made by them. Fortunately, when it comes to our clients, we made it very clear. If I am signing your 10B audit report, I will not do it until and unless you comply with TDS provisions. So we literally forced them to take registration and we started complying. Initially, it is uncomfortable. They get comfortable after a period of time. But I know so many of my professional colleagues, the auditors, who are so attached to your NGO that they say, it's okay, this year you're not complying with TDS, no problem. I have educated you, next year you better comply. This kind of personal attachment is there between the auditor and the client, because of which he is not qualifying your audit report. But let me tell you, that is a short-term happiness he has given you. Where will you suffer now? When you go for renewal, your books of accounts, your balance sheet, your income and expenditure will clearly say consultation charges paid, audit fee paid, contract payment done. And the department is going to ask you one simple question: do you even have TAN number? What are we going to reply? No, we don't have TAN number, we were not aware. Then it came 3 years back and we are still not complying with TDS. So many of the NGOs have not done this. So they are not complying with TDS. Coming to the next one. When we talk about NGOs, do not be under the impression that they cannot do any sale. Okay, under the concept of livelihood units, relief of poor, you can also get into some commercial activity. And this commercial activity needs to comply with GST. Are you having GST registration? Are you complying with GST? Answer is no. So the power of the department is going to check these compliances, labor laws, professional tax, GST. Then comes the embarrassment. No, I missed this. So this is the pain point here. So they are expecting us to satisfy these 2 things when we are going for renewal. One is the genuineness, the second one is compliance with the various laws of this country, including your FCRA. You should not receive any penalty or rejection from FCRA. That again is a minus point. You are suffering an FCRA, then how can you ask for dwelling? So all your clearances should be, you're a kind of good boy in all the departments. Okay, this client is a good boy everywhere. Then comes your 12A renewal. So then the department is happy with you, okay, and they will pass an order. And once again, the order has a life of 5 years. Forget about perpetuity. Once I prove myself, then I can again become, relax, be liberal, don't comply. No. Every 5 years, you will be put to this test. So you should get used to this test before the embarrassment starts. So they will give you an order, you will get 12A number. This is now, it will be called 12AB. and the number which will be allotted to you will be a unique registration number. It's called URN. And basically from this year the government is preparing an electronic register to give you an identity and update there. This was missing in India. Every state was allotting 12A orders, but there was no unique number. We of course had a PAN number, but we didn't have a unique license number under 12. So now when the order is passed, they will give you a unique number and it will be updated in the electronic database. So we heard about the NRC thing. So now this is a kind of NRC for NGOs. They are making a register for the NGOs. This is what is important. Okay, so application will be online. We don't have to go to the department. The form right now available is 10A. It's the old form. We are waiting from 1st April 2021 whether they will give us a new form or we have to continue with the old form. We have to wait and watch. Right now, no news. The government is silent. Okay, so the points which I was telling, that the department will be passing the order. Now coming to the very important surprise. What is that? No, the department was not happy with you. You could not satisfy the genuineness test. You could not satisfy the compliance test. So what is the surprise? Reject 12. Okay. So now what is the fate? Reject 12. What is the fate of that? I go and fight. Man, to the tribunal. The commissioner is doing this. You're a genuine case. You still have some scope. You feel, no, the department was not fair enough in passing the rejection order. You feel, that within the law, it is still worth enough asking for 12A. Then you will have to go for an appeal with the tribunal. But please understand, at this stage, when your 12A is rejected, you are treated as a non-charitable organization. So then what are the consequences one by one? Your donor will say, I will not give you CSR funds. The individual donors will say, you lost your 12A, you lost your ATG, I don't want to donate because I am not getting ATG benefit. And the worst thing is, this dangerous section called 115 TD. Okay, what is this section? This section is saying, once the department has decided you are not charitable, all these years you were thinking you were charitable, you never paid tax to us and happily accumulated a huge net worth in the balance sheet. Now you pay tax. I will repeat. What is the section telling? 115 TD is saying, all these years we were under the impression that you were doing genuine charitable work and we did not take tax from you. We were taking from others. And without taking tax from you, you have built a beautiful balance sheet. A very nice net worth is sitting there. On that net worth, you just to pay us 42.74% tax. Are we ready for this? 42.74 on the net worth. We didn't even think of this. People were telling you'll become taxable. So we were thinking prospectively. Okay, okay, we'll do something prospectively. What am I talking? This is not a prospective scenario. Prospectively, you will not get CSR. Prospectively, people are not going to give you money. That is prospective. But the balance sheet which is standing there, that will get taxed. We are not ready for this situation at all. And we don't want to face this. I'm telling you, it is all your efforts that the organization today is standing like this. Just because you didn't know, your auditor was very liberal with you, etc., etc., we can't afford to lose our 12A. This is an asset which has to be held and protected by us. Take it very seriously. And why am I a little upset with the NGO sector? I'll tell you what is the trend in the market. They approach some normal consultant who's not even a professional. They'll say, you handle the accounts. That person will go to a CA, get it signed by him. The CA never in life even saw the activities that were happening in your NGO. He doesn't even know what is happening there. For him, it is just a matter of signature. And that consultant does signature and then it gets uploaded. But today, when you have to face this battle will be yours. They will simply say, We didn't know the government would change like this. So you can't even catch hold of him. So it is our asset. 12A is our license. It is an intangible asset which we have to protect. The legal risk of losing is huge. Let us not even think about it and let us protect this asset. Okay, now coming to the next set. Okay, this is the same thing. Net worth, how do you calculate net worth for paying tax? Assets minus liability in the balance sheet and all that. I've already covered. Okay, and see, now I was just telling you, once you apply for 12A and you get it, again the test is coming 5 years down the line. For 5 years you can relax. But here they are saying, just in case, after getting 12A, once again you end up changing your objects. You were doing some kind of livelihood work. Then a group of people said, no, you get into lending of money. Poor people need money. Let us get into small microfinance. Do it. So now when you took 12A, that time you were just relief of poor livelihood unit. But now you added one new activity. And what is the new activity? Microfinance. So again, what is the government telling? You have changed your objects. Please come again. We have to check the genuineness. We have to check what are you doing. You are talking about money lending. Are you taking licenses from RBI, NBFC, etc.? Of course, there are some relaxations. Who has to apply for license, who need not apply. But they're going to check all that. So now, you be very careful. Anytime a new project comes in your mind, simply do not say, I will start it. No resolution on record. No changing of objects with registrar of societies, not informing the commissioner, happily doing that activity. This is going to be dangerous. You will have to again go for re-registration if you change your object clause. Simply informing the commissioner is not going to work. They are not asking you to please come and inform us. They are saying once again within 30 days. Within 30 days of changing your object clause, come to us for revalidation of your license. This is the language. Okay, next one.